Alright guys, go ahead and stand kind of semicircle right here outside of the weights. We're gonna do just some stretches real quick. Make sure that you have plenty of distance and around you. Let's start off with bringing your right arm across. Stretching that deltoid, that posterior deltoid in the back. Holding it for about 10-15 seconds. And then switch. Good, relax. Check it out a little bit. Let it relax. All right, bring your right arm over your head. Grab it with your left elbow, your left hand.
My shoulder just popped.
Good.
Yeah.
You're very flexible, Northcutt.
At some points I am.
All right, relax. And switch. All right, relax. Let's do some arm circles. And switch it. All right, and then put your hands around your back, stick your chest out, and squeeze, try to squeeze your shoulder blades together. And relax. Now, can anybody tell me what group of muscles we just stretched?
Our shoulders and back.
Right, our upper body muscles, right?
Yeah.
So today, we're going to be learning how to do the bench press. How many of you guys are familiar with the bench press exercise? Most of you guys, I mean, that's one of the big three, bench press, squat, deadlift, that most people have at least seen before. You've seen in the NFL Combine, or seen, you know, in the Olympics, or seen these lifts out just about anywhere, especially now that you're in high school. Just a couple safety rules before we get started. Never start lifting without a spotter. All right? Never start lifting without a spotter. Because if you drop that weight, I've heard about it, I haven't ever seen it, and I hope I don't ever see it. It can lead to some dangerous, pretty terrible accidents. Always make sure there's an adult supervising when you lift. So make sure that there's a teacher or some type of school personnel in here when you're lifting. And stop when I say stop. Finish your rep. So if you're at the bottom of your rep and I say stop, finish it out, and then put it on the bench. Okay, rack it. So always lift with the spotter. That should be a rule for whether you're at school, whether you're in the weight room, anywhere that you're lifting weights. Always do it safely with a spotter. For school, make sure that there's adult supervision in here, and stop when I say stop, and go when I say go. But other than that, I mean, those are normal gym rules that you guys are already familiar with from being in this class. So today, and through this learning segment, we're going to be talking about two fitness concepts: muscular strength and muscular endurance. Can anybody tell me what muscular strength is? Does anybody have an idea? Go ahead.
Muscular strength would be able to do a high number, like a high amount of weight, like a single time.
Like the amount of weight that you can lift in a single rep, maybe? That'd be like a 1 rep max. So that refers to your muscular strength. What about muscular endurance?
It'd be like if you could do a small weight a bunch of times.
Right. How long you can do an exercise for a sustained amount of time. Good job. So, talking about muscular strength and muscular endurance, can anybody tell me some activities that would require muscular strength? Maybe sports, activities? Anybody?
Football.
Powerlifting.
Weights.
Powerlifting, obviously lifting weights would require muscular strength, yes. Football, can you give me a specific position that would?
Lineman.
Lineman, very good, because there's not a lot of finesse on the offensive line, right? It's a lot about power and coming off the ball hard and pushing your man out of the way, right? Offensive, defensive line. Anybody else that require muscular strength? Calisthenics. Yeah, I think that's another fitness component that Might require some muscular strength and a little more muscular endurance.
Maybe some basketball or something like that.
Playing basketball requires muscular strength. You gotta be
And
strong to
volleyball,
jump
too.
up.
Cause
Volleyball.
you gotta hit over the net.
Right, you gotta be able to jump up over the net, so you have to have a lot of muscular strength in your
And
legs.
karate too, cause you gotta chop the board in half.
Karate, okay. What about muscular endurance? What are some
Track.
sports that require track? Specifically, long distance, the
How much
400
you can
meter.
do.
Football too.
It's how much you can
You
do.
do the what?
Football too.
Football team, muscular, I mean, you gotta be able to go for 4 quarters, right?
Yeah.
Alright, that requires a little bit of muscular strength and muscular endurance. Anything else?
Soccer.
Soccer, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Golly, that requires a lot of
Crazy.
muscular endurance to be able to run for 90 minutes.
Cross country.
Do what?
Cross country.
Cross country, right? Anything else?
Lacrosse.
Lacrosse is a lot of running, that requires a lot of muscular endurance. Swimming is one that comes to mind. Swimming is a lot of muscular endurance. Your muscles are going for a long time, especially the 1500 meter. I know I swam in high school for 1 year, and that was the warm up, and I did not make it through.
Yeah,
Because I was
coach.
proud of myself on being a strong person. I didn't have a lot of muscular endurance, so I got about 2 laps in, and then I was about to die.
And coach, isn't muscular endurance see how much your muscles can endure, like see how much you can do?
Right, for a longer period of time.
That's
Right.
what I thought.
The muscular strength is kind of more of the power aspect, where you're explosive. So today, for our first learning segment of the 3 learning segments that we're gonna be going over, we're learning about the bench press exercise. So obviously the bench press, because we stretch our upper body, it works our upper body. We're gonna use our pecs, our pectoralis muscles, our deltoid muscles, and our trap muscles. So I have a quick video to show you, if you'll hit the lights. I have a quick video to show you on some form and technique ideas. And then I'll take you through a demonstration myself. If I can get it pulled up. And there are some things on here that I don't necessarily approve of, and I'll point those out after the video. It's not too long.
Right now, I'd like to show you how to do a bench press. Bench press is going to be working primarily your chest muscles, your anterior deltoids, the front part of your shoulder, and your triceps. Approach the bench. Take a seat. You want to lie back on the bench. Keep your feet firmly planted on the floor, making sure not to arch your back. Keeping your abs tight. That's going to help you from doing that. Back flush with the back pad. If you have a hard time with your back coming up off the pad, you can raise your feet up and cross them, or you can place them on the edge of the bench. I'm going to keep mine firmly planted on the floor, keeping my abs tight. I'm going to lift the bar over top of the chest. Inhale as you bring the weight down, right to the middle of your chest. Exhale as you press the weight up. Maintain proper form at all times, keeping the movement slow and in control. No jerky movements. Avoid any injury. Return the weights back to the starting position. Sit up slow. Just remember a few key things. Back flat against the pad. Feet firmly on the floor, up in the air or on the edge of the bench. Grip, same distance from the center. That is the way you properly do a bench press. You're working your chest, your shoulders, and your triceps.
Alright, so we go ahead and hit the lights for me. A lot of the things that he said I agree with. One thing that I don't want you guys to do is to put your feet on the bench or your feet in the air. Just because for right now that promotes you're not as stable. When you have your feet on the ground, flat on the ground, it gives you a little more stability when you're pushing. Okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and demonstrate if I can use that bar on this bench. I'm gonna demonstrate this for you. Like I said, I know most of you guys are familiar with it, so my feet are gonna be flat on the ground. I'm gonna sit down like normal. Making sure I'm gonna lay back, my back is flat on the bench. Alright? A lot of people can make the mistake of trying to push or arching their back when they're pushing, because I think that gives them a little more push I do not wanna do that because I don't wanna promote anything that might give you any more instability. So feet flat on the ground, alright? And when you grab the bar, there's if you can see right here, can you guys come in and look? There's a perforated part of the bar, right? The center is smooth and the outside is kind of perforated or rough, and it has a little grip. As a rule of thumb, I take my thumbs and put them on the bar right here, or on right where it turns to like the grippy side of the bar, and that's how I know that my hands are over my shoulders. So with a spotter, even though there's no weight on here with a spotter, come on back here, Rock and spot me.
Watch those weights.
All right, I'm gonna pick it up. Obviously, I don't need a spotter for this, but I just want to give a good example. I'm going to push the weight up and have it directly over my chest. When I come down, I don't wanna let it drop, all right? I want to maintain control of the weight. So, make sure you keep your thumbs wrapped around. Your hands will come straight down over your shoulders till you feel a slight stretch in your pec or chest muscles. All right, you don't have to touch your chest. All right, you can get at least, you can stay about 1 inch off of it if you'd like. You can touch it if you'd like, but don't bounce it. All right, that's gonna cause an injury. So, hands come down over shoulders, anywhere from touching the chest to 1 inch away from the chest, and explode back up. All right, does everybody see that? Hands over shoulders, feet flat on the ground. Sometimes my toes come up because I'm pushing back flat on the bench. Hands come straight down over the shoulders, 1 inch off the chest to touching the chest, and then explode back up through the rep. All right? So now, without any weight, I want you guys to go to your own individual stations. Spotters get in a spotting position, and I want you to get used to how it feels. I'll come through and correct you, and see if I see any form or flaws that I need to correct. And like I said, I'll stop you, do the rep, fix what I say to fix, and then try it again. And I'm not gonna leave until I make sure you're good. Scoot the bench back a little bit. Won't cut. No, back this way. Yeah. There we go. Now you can get back there for the spot. All right, so go ahead. You two groups go ahead and practice, and I'm gonna go through each one and see how it goes. Feet are flat on the ground. The thumbs are even. Looking pretty good. Don't stop at the bottom of the rep. There you go. All right, stop and put that little and stick them out and put them right on the edge of this. There you go, on both sides. Just like that. Now try that again. So wrap your thumbs back around now that your fingers are even. There you go. Good job. All right, now switch it up. Okay, you come back here in the spot. And the more you do this, the more comfortable you become completing the exercise, and it just comes naturally. Just do it. Make sure your thumbs are even.
And wrap it around. Ready?
Control that weight. Let it down slow and explode up.
We go again.
Yeah, continue to go, and I'll come check on you.
Inch or don't touch it at all.
There you go, you're good. All right, just keep working on it.
Here, bring it more in.
Now it should be directly over your nipple line, right there, that's perfect. Yep.
Can we do it again, coach?
Yes, please. Good job. All right, Rock, let's see it. Let's see what. Ones are even. That looks good, Rocco. Your feet are flat on the ground, your back's flat.
That's all I can do.
Alright, Mr. Wood, feet flat. Directly over your chest, you're under control. Your thumbs are even, your elbows are bending, you're looking good. Alright, finish that rep and switch it up. There you go.
We'll just go to 10.
You're like,
That'll look good. That'll look good for the camera.
Breathing, feet are flat, back's flat. Control that weight going down. Yeah, go down slow. There you go. Alright, go ahead and rack it. Everybody go ahead and rack it real quick.
did you struggle?
Alright, so everybody kind of come back up to the front of your bench right here. So, Mr. Wood, tell me one thing you want to do when you are bench pressing. One rule that we just went over.
Put your feet flat. Okay.
Keep your feet flat. Yeah, sorry, it's a little bit hard to understand what he's asking. Anybody else? Can you tell me another rule?
Keep your back against the bench.
Right, keep your back against the bench the entire time. Anybody else?
I'll tell the other one. It's where you put your thumbs out like this, make sure even, then wrap them around, and then do the bench press.
Right, exactly. So on most bars, there's a gripped part of the bar, or perforated, however you want to say it. Yep, that's just a rule of thumb that I use. Put your thumbs out on each side. Make sure your thumbs are even. Anybody else?
Maintain or control the weight.
Say that again.
Maintain or control the weight.
Yes, maintain control of the weight the entire time. You never want to drop the weight. You never want to drop it or struggle to push it back up. If you're dropping it, it might be too much. Alright, and that's another thing I want to make sure that we understand in the weight room is that the amount of weight that you do compared to your friend does not matter. Alright? The only thing that I personally look for in the weight room is that you are progressing based on yourself, that you're growing based on your past results. You know what I mean? Don't compare your results to him, because you may have had more experience than him or vice versa. You know what I mean? So it's very easy to get discouraged in the weight room when you see people putting 315 on the bar and throwing it up like it's nothing, and then you have nothing on the bar and you're struggling with it. Everybody's at their own place, and I just want to see growth individually. So controlling the weight. Anything else? Anything else that we can think of? What? So one more time.
Breathing?
Yes, you absolutely want to breathe while you're lifting weights in anything. Oxygen is fuel for your muscles. So, what happens if you drive your car without gas?
Don't go anywhere.
Your car don't go anywhere. So if you try to drive this, what I call a meat vehicle, we have meat, this body I call it a meat vehicle. If you try to drive this meat vehicle without any oxygen, you're not gonna go anywhere, right? You're not gonna be able to lift any weights. You've got to make sure that you breathe. So I want to provide you guys with some modifications to these exercises. Not everybody has a bench, has access to a bench at home or at school. You know what I mean? So if you want maybe your little brother or little sister to begin, working out or something, if they're at the age where it's safe to start working out, but you don't have equipment, there's modifications that you can do. Or maybe if you have somebody in your family that, or yourself, that you might not be great at doing the bench press, and you need to work your way up to benching the bar, which is totally fine. There's modifications, and again, I have some modifications listed around the room. as well as the cues. Can anybody tell me before I say any, some modifications and what's up, what you think?
Wall push up.
Wall push up, very good. Did you look at the sheet? Yeah, so can you show me how to do a wall push up?
Sure.
So hands flat against the wall, feet out.
Like that.
Yep, and you're pushing what you're leaning into the wall and pushing yourself away.
I
Alright,
can
if
do
you think
that.
about it, when you engage the wall, right? If I'm engaged to a wall right here, and I lean into it, the only difference between that wall and the bench is that my hands are closed, right? So it's the same motion. Alright, you're still working your pec muscles and your tricep muscles as push muscles when you do a wall push-up. Alright, if that's something that is, if somebody is not as good at bench press, that's something that they can do. Now, can somebody tell me a modification that would make the bench press more difficult? Anybody? That was a little more tough.
Incline push? 'Cause
Yes,
it's there.
very good. Thank you for using your
Yeah,
confidence.
and I can actually do that one too.
Yeah, so incline, that means, yeah, let's see, I think this bench will do it. So,
It should.
to make this a little more difficult, pull this bench up to an incline degree. There's a couple different degrees. Obviously, the further you go up, the more difficult it gets. That makes it a little more difficult. If you want to work, make it a little more difficult. Always, you can obviously add more weight. You know what I mean? You're gonna, if you want to make your, if you find that the way that you're currently benching is too easy. And an easy one, we said the wall push up. What's another exercise, chest exercise that we can do if we don't have any equipment or anything at home?
Push-ups.
Regular push-ups. Alright, regular push-ups the same exact way. Alright, our hands are underneath our shoulders. We're coming down slowly and controlled, and we're exploding up. Keeping our back straight and keeping our feet planted on the ground. Those are almost the same exact rules as we do when we bench. Feet, your shoulders are under your shoulders are under your hands. Your hands are equally spread apart. Your back straight, your feet's on the ground. You're breathing, you're controlling your own weight. Alright? So let's see you guys do some push-ups real quick. Let's see you guys get 5 push-ups in real quick. Make sure that your feet are planted on the ground. You're under control.
Push-ups are hard for me. I can only do about 10 before I collapse.
But that's okay. We're gonna try to get better, right?
Yeah.
That's right. Another thing we can do to, along with bench, to work our pec muscles and tricep muscles to improve our bench press is use dumbbells.
There's one over here that says the dumbbell bench press. That's where you just do that.
Right, and you can do 2 at one time, or you can do 1 at one time. Using the dumbbells instead of the bar makes you engage what I call your stabilizer muscles. So those are not just your pec and tricep, but maybe a little bit of bicep, a little bit of lat. It makes you hold that weight steady, stable, and improves your overall bench press. So that's another exercise that you can do. And the whole goal of bench press, we can attack muscular strength or muscular endurance on bench press. So typically the rule is if you want to focus on muscular strength, so for my alignment, I want to have higher weight on the bar. So based on your max, and there's a chart in the other weight room. So if you're benching 300 pounds, maybe 80% of your max. So 80% of 300, and you do that for a lower amount of reps. So you're building more muscular strength. Now your muscles, your muscular endurance won't be effective. It will be effective, but it won't be targeted by doing that. By lifting so much weight with less reps. But you will have more muscular strength. So when you come off the ball, or when you engage, when you hit, you have more power behind it. So if I had a swimmer or a long distance runner and their max was 300 pounds on squats, or well, actually we'll just stick with bench. So we'll say a swimmer, that's an endurance sport. We're working on the bench press. You might say if they're benching 300 pounds, that's a lot of weight for anybody. Say if they're benching 300 pounds, you might do 40 or 50% of their max for 15 reps. So you want to lower that weight down and increase the number of reps, because the longer that muscle works, the more endurance you're building in that muscle. All right? Is everybody good on that? So one thing I want to do is come up with some exercises for muscular strength and muscular, hold on, I misspelled muscular. Endurance. Alright, so if I want to improve my muscular strength, can anybody give me some exercises that we went over? They don't even have to be upper body. Actually, let's stick with upper body. Go ahead.
Bench press.
Do what?
Bench or like squat.
Yep, bench press. Alright.
Squat does your.
Go ahead and give me,
lower part.
along with it,
And upper too.
give me, should we have high reps, low weight, high weight, low
High
reps?
weight, low reps.
I do higher weight and lower reps is what I.
Very good. High weight, lower reps. Alright, W stands for weight, R stands for reps.
You know.
Alright, what else can we do to improve strength?
Weighted dips.
Yes, what'd you call them? I call them tricep dips.
Yeah.
Alright? Weighted tricep dips. And you can do these exercises, that's a good modification, Mr. Wood. So you can do these, all you need is a chair, a bed, something you can stabilize against. Actually, that's probably way too much to do that on that chair, I don't trust it, so I'll come over here.
Yeah, you might collapse in it.
So, you come off the bench, your palms are facing forward, your fingers are facing forward, stick your legs straight out, sink your butt, and push up.
I've done that before.
Yep.
Times.
This
in
will
my
improve
time.
your bench press, because you're working on that tricep muscle. Alright? And if you find that that's coming easy, you can add some weight to it, put weight in your lap. You know, maybe try to get lower, put your feet up on another bench or something, or another bed. That's another great exercise that you can do at home.
Now, if you put your feet on another bench, that'll actually be a dip itself.
Right.
Just a dip.
Now, can anybody tell me another muscular strength exercise? I'm gonna come up with at least 5 or 6. Push-ups?
And squats. You're actually squatting with weight on your shoulders. You're using your hands to keep it in place, and you're squatting.
Let's come up with upper body exercises.
Curls. Dumbbell push-ups right here.
Curls. Let's say, what muscle are we working when we work curls?
Biceps.
Bicep curls, thank you.
Arms and knees.
Okay.
Now, with curls, what kind of what would we do for strength? What kind of reps and weight would we do?
We do dumbbells like this.
Low weight,
Higher weight and lower reps. Alright, if we're trying to build strength.
Strength. Okay, now I just think
Endurance is higher reps, lower weight, right? The
The
opposite.
opposite. Higher reps. Well, yeah, that's interesting. Yes. Alright,
Yeah.
so let's come up with some more. Anybody got any more?
Pull-ups,
Pull-ups, what muscle does that work?
back pull-ups.
Your shoulders and arms.
pull-ups, that works your biceps and your, what's called latissimus dorsi, or your lats.
What is?
That's the actual name, it's called the latissimus dorsi, but we call it lats.
Can you do like weight pull-ups where you like strap like a weight to you and pull up?
Yes, and you can always add weight if you want to. And I say, I'll just write that down. But somebody like me, who weighs 255 pounds,
You better get a 10-pound
I
bar.
can't add a lot of weight. I can't add a lot of weight because that's a lot of weight to pick up. Alright, some other muscular strength upper body exercises.
I'm thinking 120.
Do what? Muscle ups? I cannot do those.
No.
Those are upper body.
Right.
Those are upper body strength. You have to have endurance and strength. Muscle ups, maybe.
I never
some
heard of muscle
exercises
ups
that we've
before.
already talked about. Some of the modifications.
Incline bench.
Incline bench.
Or incline.
We were talking
chest
about that
bench.
earlier too.
So if we have incline bench, what else can we do? What's the opposite of incline?
Decline.
Decline.
I never done incline bench.
Me neither.
Me either. I ain't doing decline either.
I tried.
Or even heard of it either.
You never heard of decline?
Down push.
I heard of decline is actually where you're going down, but I've never heard of a decline weight.
Alright,
Kills my brain cells.
let's see.
Diamond push-up.
Diamond push-ups. Yep, diamond push-ups actually focus on your triceps. They put more emphasis on your triceps.
So tricep. Oh, my voice cracked. I wasn't good.
Tricep.
There's a tricep push-up. What's the job?
That is not what I'm.
Alright, let's see here. What are some muscular endurance exercises for upper body that we could do?
Ropes, bench press with
Ropes.
less weight and higher amount. So-
Yep, I'm just gonna put BP for bench press.
That is short.
Higher reps
And easier,
with a
right?
little bit lower weight.
Ropes.
Ropes. Those big ol', I'm just gonna say shoulder ropes. Shoulder ropes, does everybody know what those are? Those two, they're like, you have two separate huge, like nautical, like ship ropes, and you sit there, and you go up and down. And they are weighted, but you do them for the same amount of time, that's gonna help you build endurance with that overload, alright? Let's see here. What are some other muscular endurance exercises that you could do?
Everything on the other side.
Everything, you can honestly switch up everything on the other side and reduce the weight and increase the reps. And that would be totally okay. That'd be just fine. Some good shoulder exercises. Again, we're focusing on upper body. Military press, that's what I call it. Where you're sitting straight up on the bench press, and that's also another, it can be a difficult one. Or you can do it standing. You have a bar, and you just go straight up with it, alright? That works. Your deltoids, front, medial, and rear deltoids, alright, as well as your traps and things like that.
What's that called when you do this? Put your shoulders up like that?
A shrug?
Shrug.
A shrug,
When you
yeah.
grab it and just, oh. Yeah.
He's netted.
Yeah.
Or inherit a bunch of dudes, that's not good.
Alright, so now I wanna try some of these modifications. Alright?
Okay.
So, we learned how to do the bench press, right? So we're not gonna use, we're still not gonna use a lot of weight, just because I don't want to, put anybody at risk, for right now, for this class period. So, let's all get, so I just want everyone to get a dumbbell. Alright?
Uno.
Just one. Or excuse me, every group to get one dumbbell.
Oh, okay.
Make mine a 10. Thank you.
I understand that shit.
Alright, we're gonna lay this bench back flat. again, I'll tell you when to go. I'll tell you when to begin, I'll tell you when to stop. So the person that is lifting, go ahead and lay flat on the bench, just like you would if you were bench pressing.
Watch through the bar.
No, you can leave the bar there. If you need to slide the bench out, you can. Just to give you some more room. I wouldn't try to avoid the bar.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Alright, so with the dumbbell, don't start yet. With the dumbbell in your right hand, alright, make sure your feet are flat on the ground, and this is gonna help you stabilize with your core too. Alright, with your dumbbell in your right hand, don't start yet. Put your left hand on your stomach or on your abs. Alright, right here. Alright, now I want you to go straight up. And you might be a little wobbly, that's okay. But remember to control the weight. Go ahead and start. Go ahead and get 5 reps. Slow and steady. And once you get 5, switch arms. Keep your feet flat on the ground to improve that stabilization. Good job. And then when you finish, switch, give the weight to your partner. Don't start yet. Don't start until I say go.
Now we can go.
Alright, again, feet flat on the ground, back flat on the bench. Opposite hand that doesn't have weight in it over your stomach or chest area. You can kind of feel your abs contract
Like this.
when you go
Right
up.
here. Level.
And
Turn your
again.
weight around. Make it like this.
Go ahead and go.
Yeah.
And I don't care which direction you hold the dumbbell. Just get 5 reps in with each hand.
Hold mine off to the side.
And just keep that hand over the shoulder. Maybe already got your both files on each side.
Show one side like you.
Go ahead and do the other side too. Make sure you're controlling the weight. I can't reach that enough. And then that is, I kind of consider that on the same level as bench press. It's definitely an accessory lift for bench press, just because it helps you with your stabilization. It's not, I wouldn't say that it's more difficult than the bench press, but I wouldn't say it's easier either. So let's go ahead and next, everybody find a spot on the wall. We're just going through all 3 modifications that I've posted on the wall. Find a flat spot on the wall. Okay, you can go over here. On that wall.
Over here.
You can use the door of the wall. And go ahead and put don't start yet. Make sure that your hands are directly, you can come over here. Your hands are directly in front of your shoulders, alright? Your hands are directly in front of your shoulders. And then control yourself down. Go ahead and go. Go ahead and get 10 reps of that. Here's some popping and cracking. Make sure to really tuck those elbows back. Alright, so we did. Have you done 10 with cut? There you go.
10.
Alright, so we've done the easier modification, which is wall push-ups. Alright, the more difficult modification, or excuse me, the kind of the same modification, just different workout with the 1-arm dumbbell press. You can also use 2 arms for that, if you have 2 dumbbells. Next, we're gonna work on inclines. So, yeah, all 3 of them incline. Just go up to the first notch. There you go. Go down there.
Right here.
All right. And
Is it right here?
yeah, that's all right. So pick your floor on one foot. we're not gonna add any weight today for this, because I wanna make sure you guys have proper form before we, go into adding any weight. Alright, so again, this makes it a little bit easier as far as keeping your feet on the ground, so feet will still be planted on the ground. Your back should still be flat on the bench. You shouldn't try to arch your back and come off the bench to lift the weight. Alright? You're still coming, you've got to tuck your elbows a little bit more. Alright, kind of keep them tight. And breathe through the exercise. Alright, make sure your thumbs are equally spaced apart. Wood, go ahead and get back there and spot him, please, before you lift the bar off. Don't start yet. Put it up, put it up. Alright, now, like we did with the bench press, I'll go through and watch everybody, make sure that you're doing a good job. It's the same rules apply. Go ahead and go.
How many reps did we do?
5, please. Slow and steady.
This keeps following.
Always.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, you're looking pretty good right now. Alright. Let's see it, Rock.
Yeah, 6 foot both.
Alright, you're good. Mr. Wood.
I'm just gonna go in now.
I'm gonna get behind you.
No.
There. Behind you.
Good, back flat, feet are flat, you're good. Alright, partners, go ahead and switch it up.
6 foot both.
You're good, small, that was a good job.
5.
Make sure those thumbs are wrapped around. There you go. Alright, go ahead and rack it.
Excuse you.
Go ahead and lock it out all the way up. There you go. Control that weight going down. There you go. Feet are flat, your back's flat, your hands are even.
Are we supposed to go again?
That's it.
Oh, that's it?
Good job today, guys. I've got one thing I want you guys to do before you go. And I've got some pencils. I don't have enough, so we're going to have to split them up a little bit. Right now I've got 4.
In the back.
4 out of 6.
So we're going to take it
Big green one.
Yep. Alright. And then there's one more pencil right here. Make sure that your name is on it. Alright, so I'll read through this real quick so that you guys don't have to. The first question, Stephen has created a goal to improve his muscular strength. He has begun a daily exercise routine listed below. Using the chart below, help him create a workout day for a day and explain why you chose the exercises that you did. And I don't care, make sure that you relate your exercises, the reasons for why you chose them to something we learned, you know what I mean? He needs to increase his weight and reps for this reason. Alright, and then next, I want you to list 3 rules of the weight room that I mentioned when we first started class, and then 3 visual cues to promote the proper bench press form. Alright,